What's up? Welcome to Nowstalgia. Dave here with my 2024 Oscar nominations predictions. The Oscar noms will be announced on January 23rd. So now, after some of the precursor awards and precursor nominations have come out, I'm going to predict Best Picture, all four acting categories, animated feature, Best Director, and international feature film. Of course, once those Oscar noms do come out, I'll do a reaction to those, and then closer to the Oscars themselves, I'll do my full predictions for all the categories. So make sure you subscribe and come back for that. But yeah, let's just kind of dive in here. We've got the Golden Globes have happened, and of course the Producers Guild, Screen Actors Guild, nominations have come out, as well as Critics' Choice Award nominations, the Annie Awards. So yeah, let's kind of dive in here. So we're gonna do Best Picture, Animated Feature, International Feature Film, Director, and the acting categories. Let's just kind of get right off the bat. Let's just jump right into Best Picture here. I think this is actually a really interesting time right now, where Best Picture feels pretty hard to not pick this core top 10 we have here. And obviously there's tiers to this, but just in terms of the precursors and what we're seeing here, it feels like this top 10 is really in there right now. So anyway, I'm just gonna say Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Barbie, Maestro, Poor Things. That makes 6. Those 6 are definite locks, right? And then from there, I think American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall are just about locks as well. So that's 8. So, and why I think they're locks, all of them got Globe nominations. Of course, the Golden Globes delineate drama, musical, or comedy, so more things get nominated. But also, all those films also got Producers Guild Award nominations. All of them except Anatomy of a Fall got a Critics' Choice Award nomination as well. Now, for the last two, I'd been worried that this wouldn't come to pass, but it feels like Past Lives from A24, my number 2 movie of 2023, it feels like Past Lives is in there, man. Globe nom, PGA nom, Critics' Choice nom. And then I think Zone of Interest as well is also in there. Globe nom, as well as a PGA nom, which is pretty notable because that's not a commercial film. The PGAs in the past have leaned a bit more commercial, so I think actually it's pretty meaningful when a movie like that gets a PGA nom. You could say the same about Past Lives. I think that's kind of it, and then from there, I mean, Oppenheimer, Killers, Barbie, American Fiction, they all got a SAG Ensemble nom, kind of the equivalent of SAG's Best Picture. So I'm feeling really good there. And here's the other thing. What movie is going to jump into Best Picture beyond the 10 I just listed? If we have the Zone of Interest and Past Lives on the bubble or towards the bottom, and we'll just go at that, right? What's going to jump in? May, December, got a Globe nom, didn't get a PGA nom. Air, got a Globe nom, didn't get a PGA nom. All of Us Strangers, it didn't get a Globe or a PGA nom. The Color Purple, no Globe, no PGA, but it did get SAG Ensemble. It did get Critics' Choice. I just don't know if the Color Purple momentum is there. The movie kind of fizzled after a hot start at the box office. I don't know. I think if you're going to pick something, it's The Color Purple or May, December with the Netflix backing. But, I mean, it feels foolish to just pick the PGA noms, verbatim. But I just, can't make the case for anything else getting in right now. It's, kind of, unforeseen if it was to happen. Right now we only have the BAFTA long list. We don't have the BAFTA nominations to the end of next week when I'm recording this. So that's at least a little bit more of a data point for what it's worth. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Oppenheimer, Killers, Holdovers, Barbie, Maestro, Poor Things, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, and Zone of Interest for Best Picture. I'm going to stick with that top 10. Feels safe, but I just don't know what else you can really make the case for right now. Animated feature film. This one I think is pretty interesting, actually. This is often not that interesting of a category, but I like it this year. The Boy and the Heron from Studio Ghibli, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Those are your 2 heavyweights. They're absolutely getting in. They're nominated everywhere. Globe, PGA, Critics' Choice, as well as the Annie Awards, which is the Animators Guild Award, which is probably the most interesting to look at because that's most reflective of the voting body, etc., in terms of who gets nominated. So you have The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Verse, right? That's your top 2. Then from there, I think it gets interesting because you have kind of a bit of a breakdown here. You have Elemental from Pixar, which I like quite a bit. That's a Globe nom, a PGA nom, a Critics' Choice nom, but not an Annie nom. And on the reverse of this, basically, you have Netflix's Nimona, which is critically loved, no Globe nom, no PGA nom, but did get Annie nom, did get a Critics' Choice nom. Huh, interesting, right? Then we have Mario, Super Mario Bros. Movie, the biggest anime movie of the year, which got a Globe nom, got a PGA nom, no Annie nom, no Critics' Choice nom. And then I think anything else kind of in the mix there, you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which got no Globe nom, but did get PGA, did get Annie, did get Critics. Then you have Wish, which got Critics and Globe, but no PGA, no Annie. You have Suzume, which I would certainly be rooting for, which got Globe, and that was an Annie, but no PGA, no Critics. So, like, I think that's your field there. Nothing else is really in the mix. I think we can write off Wish, just doesn't have enough goodwill. Unfortunately, I feel like I have to write off Suzume. As much as I want to love, like, Makoto Shinkai, like, amazing creator, love him. He'll get one of these eventually, I think, in a post Ghibli world, or post Miyazaki world, but not this year. So you have Heron and Spider-Verse in. I'm gonna keep Elemental in, even without the Annie nom. That's 3. I'm gonna have Nimona in. That's 4. And then what is 5? Is 5 Mario, or is it Ninja Turtles? It feels kind of hard that a $1 billion anime movie is not gonna get in. Not that that's the only criteria. Of course, it's not. Then again, Ninja Turtle was quite well liked. I feel like maybe that's where we have to lean right now, you know. So I think you got to lean there and have Mario on the outside looking in. Very interesting. I would of course pick Suzume, but it's not going to happen. International feature film, another interesting one because we don't have as much predicting options right now. Let's go through the Globe nominations for non-English language film, which of course is a different category, but this is the equivalent, right? They nominated The Zone of Interest from the UK and Poland, Fallen Leaves from Finland, Society of the Snow from Spain on Netflix, Io Capitano from Italy, and then they also nominated Anatomy of a Fall from France, and Past Lives. The thing, though, of course, is international feature film is about international films. So Past Lives, that is an American movie. Even though it has a lot of Korean in it, is not an international film. So that's not going to happen. Past Lives will be in Best Picture, I'm predicting, but it's not eligible for international feature films. Write that off. Also, Anatomy of a Fall, despite the fact that this is a movie with a ton of Best Picture nomination juice, feels very safe in that category and some other ones as well. Anatomy of a Fall was not selected by the nation of France as its pick for this category. That's the way it works, of course. The Taste of Things, which was critically adored, was their selection instead. So Anatomy of a Fall will not be in here either. So in terms of what I think will happen, of course, you can look at the full short list of the movies contending for these 5 spots. International feature film, I think Zone of Interest, Fallen Leaves, Society of the Snow, put those 3 in. Very confident about that. I think The Taste of Things from France will get in because that movie is really well liked. So that's 4. Now, what is that 5th spot? There's a lot of contenders. The Globes pick Io Capitano. Maybe. I'm not going to pick that, though. I think it's between Perfect Days from Japan, the Wim Wenders movie, which is really well liked, as well as the documentary from Ukraine, 20 Days, and Mariupol. I think that's where you're looking at. Like, you got the Mads Mikkelsen Denmark movie, The Promised Land. I'm going to not pick that, unfortunately. The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, I've seen that predicted by some, but I'm not going to go there either. I think it's 20 Days in Mariupol over Perfect Days for your 5th. That's what I'm going to go with. So Zone of Interest, Fallen Leaves, Society of the Snow, The Taste of Things, and 20 Days in Mariupol. That's what I think is going to happen. And of course, Zone of Interest, prohibitive favorite, given that it's a Best Picture contender as well. Now, if France had picked Anatomy of a Fall, it probably wins this category, but alas, they did not select it. Let's go to Best Director here. So Best Director, I think, is also a pretty tight field, but there's kind of like a interesting thought about where this could go. So you have your core 4. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, and Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. All 4 of them nominated at the Globes, nominated at the Directors Guild, and nominated by the Critics' Choice. Of course, Nolan won the Globe. Lock them in. That's your 4. What is this 5th spot going to be? The Globes picked Celine Song, director of Past Lives. The Directors Guild picked Alexander Payne, the director of The Holdovers, a previous, Oscar darling in the past for other categories. And the Critics' Choice picked Payne as well. Now, the Globes also picked Bradley Cooper for Maestro. And the critics picked Cooper, but the Directors Guild did not. So it's a bit of a mix here, right? It's Nolan, Yorgos, Gerwig, Scorsese, core 4, in. Is his fifth spot Alexander Payne? Is it Bradley Cooper? I'm going to say it's not Celine Song. Celine Song got nominated for first feature film category at the DGA, which I think is well earned for sure. But we can, I think, write off Celine Song. Now, Payne or Cooper. Here's the thing, though. Traditionally, the Directors Guild doesn't line up with the DGA or the Best Director category doesn't line up with the DGA nominations. It's always something off, right? Think of the international push in recent years, where Paweł Pawlikowski for Cold War, Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, or last time, Ruke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, right? International voting body can pull up. Now, will they just coalesce behind Yorgos Lanthimos? Maybe. However, perhaps they go for someone like Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest, or Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. I think if anything, I would have your core four. Then after that, I feel like there's some juice for Justine Triet to be that fifth spot, and not Cooper and not Payne. I'm not sure. This is a hard one to say. It's early. But in terms of the nomination, I have kind of a feeling about Anatomy of a Fall. You know? I mean, Cooper did so... it's a bigger, more directed movie. So, that to me is, the better pick. But I don't know. There's something about Triet. Then, on the other hand, Cooper's a big campaigner, right? So, this is, a really hard one to call. I think I'm going to write off Payne. Payne's the one DGA nom that will be replaced. So, I'm going to go with Triet. Feels like a tough, feels like out on a limb a little bit to pick Triet over Cooper, but that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, that's picture, animated feature, director, international feature film. Let's go to the acting categories. So let's go to Best Actress here. We have, I think, once again, kind of like a core group, but there's, I think, a lot of interesting stuff here. Of course, the Globes separate for drama, musical, or comedy, so there's a lot of Globe nominations to parse through, but let's just go through SAG as well. So you have Lily Gladstone, who won the Globe, and then you have Emma Stone, who won the other Globe. Your two leaders in the clubhouse here, put them in. You also have Carey Mulligan and Margot Robbie nominated by the Globes. I think you put them in. That is 4 already. Now, SAG picked Gladstone, Stone, Robbie, Mulligan as well. So I think between the Globe nom and the SAG nom, as well as all of them also being Critics' Choice nommed, that's your core 4 for Best Actress. What is that fifth spot going to be? Is it Annette Bening, who got a Globe nom, but also a SAG Award nom, surprisingly? Is it Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, who got a Globe nom and a Critics' Choice nom, but not a SAG nom? Is it Greta Lee, who got a Globe nom and a Critics' Choice nom, but not a SAG nom? Greta Lee for Past Lives. Is it Natalie Portman for May December, who got a Globe nom, or Fantasia Barrino from The Color Purple, who got a Globe nom? I'm going to say probably not. Kelly Spaney, Jennifer Lawrence also got Globe noms, so then we can write those off. So your core 4, Lily Gladstone, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone, Margot Robbie. Put them in. Who's that fifth spot going to? Despite the SAG nom, I am not going to pick Annette Bening for Naiad, although I'm a bit worried about that one. I really want it to be Greta Lee so bad. I really do. I have a feeling Greta Lee is going to get pushed out of this, unfortunately. But hopefully Past Lives, as I predicted, will stick with Best Picture, so that's still there. So as a result, I think it's going to be Sandra Huller. The international push, Anatomy of a Fall, has good popularity right now. I think that's the pick. Also helps that Sandra Huller is also in a supporting role in The Zone of Interest, so she has extra awareness, I guess. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with. Gladstone, Huller, Mulligan, Stone, Robbie for actors. But tough one. Tough one to nail down that last spot, I think. Best Actor, I think, is a bit, I guess, kind of has a similar thought here. You have your core top groups. You have Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti, who both won the Globes. And then you have Bradley Cooper and Jeffrey Wright. Bradley Cooper and Jeffrey Wright alongside Murphy and Giamatti. Globe, SAG, Critics' Choice. Lockout for those. Then from there, what's that fifth spot again? Is it Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, who got a Globe nom and a Critics' Choice nom, but not a SAG nom, perhaps surprisingly? Is it Coleman Domingo, who got a Globe nom, a SAG nom, and a Critics' Choice nom? Is it Andrew Scott, who got a Globe nom? Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers, Coleman Domingo for Rustin. Is it... It's probably not Barry Keoghan for Saltburn, despite the Globe nom. I'd also write off all the other musical or comedy nominees at the Globes, Nicolas Cage, Chalamet, Matt Damon, Joaquin. So if we're putting Murphy, Giamatti, Cooper, and Jeffrey Wright in, who is that fifth spot going to? Leo, Andrew Scott, or Coleman Domingo? It's a hard one. It's a hard one. Unfortunately, All of Us Strangers doesn't have a ton of the juice right now. Perhaps a bit underwhelming there. So, I kind of feel like Andrew Scott's going to get pushed out here. And I guess it's a question of, does Coleman Domingo get in or does Leo get in? Killers of Flower Moon, they put all their eggs behind the Lily Gladstone basket. Leo's kind of happy to campaign behind her, for her. It's kind of being compared to what happened with De Niro, with The Irishman, speaking of Scorsese movies. So I think Coleman Domingo might be the choice here. That's what I'm going to go with, but it's a hard one to say, but I wish Andrew Scott could get through, but I don't think it'll happen. Let's go to supporting actress. You have Divine Joy Randolph, Emily Blunt for The Holdovers and Oppenheimer, respectively, Daniel Brooks for The Color Purple, and Jodie Foster for Naiad. I think that's your core four. They got all nominated Globes, SAG, and Critics. Randolph won at the Globes. Then from there, what's that fifth spot going to be? America Ferrera, Globe nom, Critics nom, no SAG nom. Julianne Moore, Globe nom, Critics nom, no SAG nom. Or Penelope Cruz for Ferrari, who got no Globe nom, no Critics nom, but did get the SAG nom, kind of throwing a wrench into the predicting. Again, I think Randolph, Blunt, Brooks, Foster, that's your core four again. All these seem to have a core four, funny enough. That fifth spot, though. America Ferrera for Barbie. Barbie also feels a bit soft right now, so I'm going to pick against that one. And Julianne Moore for May December also feels kind of soft right now, so it's a hard one. But it feels weird, but I feel like you got to go Penelope Cruz right now, Ferrari also doesn't have a ton of juice, but Cruz has gotten nominated from smaller movies before. Parallel Mothers just a few years ago. International voting push will help with that. I'm going to go with Cruz, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just ends up being Ferrera for Barbie. So we'll see. And lastly, for Best Supporting Actor, you have a kind of a core top group, and then where's the last one going to go? Robert Downey Jr. For Oppenheimer, Globe win. SAG nom, Critics nom, The Presumptive Favorite. Robert De Niro, Globe nom, SAG nom, Critics nom for Killers. Ryan Gosling, Globe, SAG, Critics for Barbie. That's 3. And then 4 is probably still Charles Melton, Globe nom, Critics nom, but no SAG nom. At one point, people thought he could be an upset player. That's clearly not going to happen now. But who else is there? That's 1, 2, that's 4. Sterling K. Brown, no Globe nom, but he did get a SAG nom, did get a Critics nom for American Fiction. Maybe Willem Dafoe, Globe, SAG, but no Critics. Mark Ruffalo, Globe, Critics, no SAG. I think that's your field. I'm going to have Downey Jr., De Niro, Gosling in. I don't feel as confident about Charles Melton right now. And I feel like Sterling K. Brown perhaps is above him in the voting right now. So is Melton going to hold off Willem Dafoe, who gets a lot of, supporting nominations over the years? I think we can write off Ruffalo for Poor Things. So Melton, Brown, Dafoe for 2 spots. I'm going to have Sterling K. Brown in. He's amazing in American Fiction. Really good. And Melton, I think Melton will squeak on by through this. And Dafoe will get pushed out. But this is a hard one. I don't have a good feel for it right now. But yeah, that's kind of that's the top categories for Oscar nomination predictions. Again, I'll be back on January 23rd to talk about the nominations. Of course, I won't get all these right. And then Oscar predictions proper right before the Oscars in a few months' time. So make sure you come back for that. Let me know, who do you want to see nominated the most? Who are you really pulling for? For me, obviously, I'm definitely behind Greta Lee in Past Lives. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking, what you want to see. And for more Oscar talk and more movie reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.